Our lesson today is powers of 10 with decimals. Now, our previous lesson used whole numbers. We're going to find that the same principles work. We're adding decimals. That's okay. We're going to use what we know to solve what we don't know. Let's look at this first problem. We've got 37, and first I'm just going to read it like it's written. 37.29 times 10 with an exponent of 6. Now, if you have your text questions read to you on a test, like the Smarter Balance test or one of the state testing, that's how it's going to read it. It's not going to say, they're not going to say 37 and 29 hundredths times 10 to the 6th power. They're going to read it exactly 37.29 times 10 with an exponent of 6. So I only say that because I just want you to be aware that that is not really the mathematical way, but when they're reading for tests, they don't want to give you any hints on how to solve it, so they're not going to say 37 and 29 hundredths times 10 to the power of 6. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my number. I'm going to write 37 and 29 hundredths. Now, if you're not sure that this was 29 hundredths, you can say, always find the decimal point. This is tenths, this is hundredths, it would be thousandths, 10 thousandths, and so forth. You can count backwards from the decimal point. You can count down. The 10 is the base here, the 6 is the exponent. And just as a few lessons ago, we were filling out our charts and we noticed a pattern. We had 37.29 times 10 to the first, then times 10 to the second, then times 10 to the third. We noticed that we could add this many zeros. Whatever the exponent was, that's how many zeros you add. When there's a decimal point, it makes it a little bit trickier. Let's add some zeros though. And I said we're adding 6, so let's add 6 and see what happens, because it's slightly more complex than that, but I think you'll get it. So I'm going to add 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But what this 6 really means is that I'm going to move the decimal point 6 places to the right, because my number is getting bigger, so I move the decimal point to the right. When I divide by 10 or a power of 10, my decimal point goes to the left. So I'm really moving my decimal point 6 places to the right. Let's do that. Okay, here I am. Here's 1 place, 2 places, 3 places, 4 places, 5 places, 6 places. So I'm going to rewrite my number. 37, 2, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Now, I can put a decimal point. If I was talking about money, I might put a decimal point, and the cents. I don't have to do that. Our standard convention in math is that there's no information over there. You do not have to put the decimal point into zeros. It's not wrong if you do. It just looks a little simpler or easier to work with if you don't. But I am going to add my comma. So I'm going to start from the end and count over threes by threes. 1, 2, 3, comma, because that's the ones period. 1, 2, 3, comma, that's the thousandths period. And this is the millions. So my answer is 37,290,000. And that's it. There's nothing here. 37,290,000. Let's try another one. Okay, this one says 45.58 divided by 10 with an exponent of 4. I'm going to read that again the mathematical way. 45 and 58 hundredths divided by 10 to the power of 4, or 10 to the 4th power. I'm going to write that, I'm going to expand my exponent. 45 and 58 hundredths divided by, I know 10 to the 4th is 10 as a factor 4 times, which is 100 times 100, 100 times 100, which equals 10,000. Okay. Now you see, Miss Sherman, you did that the long way. All you had to do was count the number, look at the exponent, draw a 1, and put 4 zeros, and you're absolutely right. I could have done that. So I have 45 and 58 hundredths divided by 10,000. Okay. Well, this time I'm going to write my number, 45.58. And I'm just thinking of it as the number. That's why I said 0.58. And now I'm going to put some zeros. I know I'm dividing, so I know my decimal point is moving this way. So I'm going to put, I probably won't need them all. I'm just going to put 4 zeros this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. I always want to get in the habit of whichever way I'm adding zeros to add them on the right side. I might not need them all because really I'm moving the decimal point. And because my number's getting smaller and much smaller, I'm moving my decimal point to the left. And I'm moving it by 1, 2, 3, 4 places, which is this exponent right here, 4. Let's do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I rewrite this, I do like to put at least 1 zero before the decimal point. Actually, I do like to put exactly 1 zero before the decimal point. And then it's easier for me to keep it straight, just to go one by one. I have a 0 and a 0, a 0, okay, another 0, a 4, a 5, a 5, and an 8. And I get all that down there, and then I'll read it. And it might be helpful for me to write over here, okay, this is the tenths, this is the hundredths, this is the thousandths place, this would be the 10,000ths place, this would be the hundreds thousandths place, this would be the millionths. And I should put a TH after these since I didn't write them as a fraction. So this would really be read 4,558 millionths. All right. Thank you for joining me.